Hi everyone, William Weyser is back. In part 1, I explained things 1 through 3 about me going back to the old church for a Heroes Camp this year, me used to having a Price is Right game, and the production company for this Fremantle Media, and Rick showing Donnie Bajer the Blue's Clues Snack Time and Rhythm and Blue videos. So, now I'm back and ready to move on to more things on this list. Number 4. Seeing Winnie the Pooh characters in Walt Disney World and spending time with Rick in Florida. This is what Rick's parents, mostly his mom, has decided on, that this long wait to make our movie is worth it, or at least we're hoping it is. And in 2007, when I was about 10 or 11 years old at the time, I went to Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, and me, Sammy, and my parents were there, along with Uncle Perry, Cousin Rebecca, and my late Grandma Shirley, which was, I think, my dad's mom. And there, we saw plenty of Disney-related characters, especially the Winnie the Pooh characters. And every time I saw one of the Winnie the Pooh characters on screen, well, this is in terms of the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and this was back in those days when I was obsessed with it. I was excited to watch it, and after seeing them in person, I always gave them a fist bump, like you would see literally every Deal No Deal contestant do to Howie Mandel. They would give him a fist bump. And I got introduced to the fist bump in episode 4 of Deal or No Deal. And they would notice them giving them the fist bump, and they would get him right back at me. And I don't remember doing this to all the Winnie the Pooh characters that I saw in person, but I do know, based on the characters, I am sure that I saw the top 4 most popular Winnie the Pooh characters: Winnie the Pooh himself, Tigger, Piglet, and Eeyore. Although I think Gopher might have been there. Probably. I'm not sure if Rabbit, and that's as far as I'm going in terms of animal characters. And speaking of Winnie the Pooh and mentioning those 4 characters, I've seen every episode of the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and there's only one episode with those 4 as the main focus in terms of animal characters, and Rabbit is not there, called Sorry, Wrong Slusher. And that was the last new episode I've ever seen before I turned 13 years old. And I was having a lot of fun watching it. Then I noticed at the end, during a scene where the doorbell rings and Tigger and Eeyore are like, the Slusher's back. Didn't know Slushers used the doorbell. Oh yeah, they could be tricky, or they're kind of tricky. I noticed a production music that, I don't know what the name of it is, but I noticed that familiar soundtrack, and ever since I saw that soundtrack or production music in that episode, I'm like, over half of the episodes of the New Adventures, over half of the episodes of the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh has that production music. And some might get back at me and say close to half have it, but not quite halfway there yet. But that's just what I think of it, and I'd like to know what the name of that production music is. And for those who don't know what it is, I'll play it out for you in case you don't know. And that's how it plays. It doesn't play that way every time it appears in an episode, but it gives you a little taste of it. I got introduced to it in the episode Lights Out, when Gopher and Piglet finds the other four characters inside this tunnel, and those four feel like that they've been trapped in it for a zillion miles underground, but it turns out that they're in the tunnel for going into Rabbit's house, and that production music plays when I got it, of when Gopher opens the door. And speaking of turns out, in Sorry Wrong Slusher, Christopher Robin and Pooh Bear, Tigger, and Eeyore walk through the door to see who rings the doorbell, while Piglet stays behind the couch and the pillow. And as they walk up to the door, Christopher Robin opens it, and it turns out that it's some man offering them a pizza, which, if they offered me that pizza, I would have taken it and eaten as much as I could of it. Not all of it, but as much as I can of it. And speaking of the number 4, because this was the number 4 thing, in October of this year, William Weyser's Childhood Fears will be back for a 4th season, and hopefully the material in that season will be a lot better. Because in that season, I'm going to be dealing with some missed opportunities from last season, which was just rough. And I know in that season, I will do regular episodes and some top 13 lists, like the one top 13 list that I feel like seems appropriate to start season 4, the top 13 missed opportunities, where I talk about things that just didn't come to me, or I just didn't think of, or I try to say that thing, but mouth and brain don't always work. And there is always that, and there's also the top 13 mistakes part 3, and maybe part 4 if the time comes. The top 13 Not My Cup of Tea DVDs, since I did the videos version last season. The top 13 best episodes, the top 13 worst episodes, and a new list that I created, the top 13 VHS and DVD mistakes, where I talk about videos and DVDs that have two things together that to me just don't fit. And I could come up with a lot of examples like that, and when the time comes for that, I will explain to all of you what I mean by that. Number 5. Diving board in the swimming pool and pool party scenes. I think Rick wanted to dig deeper into the pool party scene because he has been on diving boards before, especially in water parks. I've been on diving boards before, like in the days when Camp High was far away. I would sometimes dive from the diving board in the swimming pool, and I would basically reenact every drowning scene from SpongeGuard on Duty, which resulted in me fake drowning, and one counselor decided that enough was enough of me doing that, because I could have been in serious danger, and because of that, I got blackballed from swimming in that pool or diving from the diving board in that location again. And so far, I haven't been in that camp or near that pool since over 15 years ago. long time, and I am sorry for all that. But recently, I've been making up for it by not drowning and instead actually acting like I'm ready to dive from the diving board into the swimming pool and act like I can swim. And for this diving board that we're going to be doing, we're going to set up a big pool, and everybody in it will have a good time swimming in it. And I've been to water parks also, like Hurricane Harbor, and plenty of other water parks like that. Oh, and Epic. And that's apparently not the only scene that Rick wants to do. He also wants... Oh yeah, he wants a trampoline scene in... Yeah, Rick wants a trampoline in the pool party scene. He also wants a rocket ship and outer space scene, which would give me a lot of credit that Space Rocket is my favorite Booba episode because of my favorite Jingball warm-up dance, my favorite present giving if there's a team and a team captain, which made it very obvious in the first few seconds, Auntie's priceless reaction when she sees the space rocket, and the one moment that made me go, you just can't top that, when the space rocket flies around the moon. And that is really, really awesome. And speaking of rockets, he also said it would be similar to the Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius pilot, Runaway Rocket Boy, which I have Runaway Rocket Boy on the Jimmy Neutron Confusion Fusion DVD, and that DVD just left me confused. Rock climbing, which I have done before, but not a whole lot. Hang gliding, I think I've done very little hang gliding, and an amusement park scene, which I've done before, and fun for us to go there. And I think in every scene in here that I just mentioned, we have to have fun going to these places. Because it's where these scenes and ideas for our movies want us to go to. So that's it for things 4 and 5, and when we come back, we will talk about the second half of this list, with number 10 being another 5-part thing. So, I'll see you after the break.